Okay, we just got our hair cut over there from my barber, so this will be part 2. I'm actually gonna head back to the Hash breakfast place because I haven't eaten there. Need to get breakfast. Too early for pizza right now. It's only, well, it's 9:50. So this is part 2 of exploring Olympia while my GMC is at the dealership getting the heated steering wheel on. And we're gonna have fun going downtown. So first we're gonna head to Hash breakfast. I'm gonna get a little breakfast burrito. So I'll cut this up in a few parts because I don't really want to walk into the breakfast place while recording my podcast / video. A little awkward, still getting used to even walking around the street, talking, podcast, video. But we're gonna try the breakfast, give that a good review or bad, we'll see, mostly, hopefully good. And then I usually like a breakfast burrito type of guy, breakfast sandwich or eggs Benedict. Runny eggs Benedict is my jam. Sometimes if you get just a classic diner, the over easy eggs, hash browns, bacon, sausage, and sourdough bread. Rivian there just flying away. We are starting to see more high-end cars here in Olympia. Definitely a lot of, I would say, more San Fran folks from California moving up to Olympia. And I think there's a reason. Our city's very friendly, Olympia, towards everybody. And plus everybody keeps themselves as well, so that's one of the things. All right, we're gonna try Hash, the neighborhood breakfast joint, and see how this turns out. And I'll do a little video while I'm in there as well, so you guys can see that also. Okay, breakfast was good, thank you. And there's a lineup still here. So it was good timing because there's some people over there and over there still waiting. Breakfast was good. Okay, so burrito was good. I went for the burrito. As I was saying, other than the eggs Benedict, decided to go with the burrito. Potatoes were good. I like them a little crispier inside the burrito. A little more salsa. It wasn't as wet, but that's good. Sometimes it's good not to be soaking wet. Sauce on top was good. Meat was good. I think I like a little more greasy too. Maybe that's unhealthy. So it was a really healthy, good burrito. 8.2 out of 10. We'll do the pizza guy review. Okay, and I always save half the burrito. So if you want to see this, there you go. There's the inside of the burrito. Okay, so we're making our way downtown. I think I'm gonna get off the busy streets though, or the busy street. We'll cut through the side neighborhood over here in West Olympia again, and we'll make our way downtown. We're gonna do a loop through downtown, and then we'll head back to the car dealership on a different road, up past the courthouse and that direction. My truck is ready. I did say we were gonna walk downtown today and explore, so that is where we are going. We are gonna explore downtown, and it's almost the same distance. I'm maybe adding an extra 15-20 minutes, but anything for the podcast part 2. It is still kind of, feels a little more brisk out, cold, windy a little bit. The wind's picked up. There's some crows hanging out on the power line up there, and it just cloudy everywhere, so it feels like I have a beware ogre sign of Shrek over there. That's actually really cool. I want to make one of those and put in my front yard. It's like the old picket fence wood post, but big, and then had painted on the big ogre face from Shrek. And it said beware. I'm like, that's actually really neat. That'd be a great Halloween thing to do with the kids. They would have a blast. Okay, so as we walk through this neighborhood, again, you're gonna see the classic style homes. We're on a different street than we walked to in the beginning, and I think this neighborhood's so much fun to walk through because all the homes change, everything's different, of course, naturally, right? As you walk through neighborhoods, like this car has a power cord running to the car from the house. So it looks like someone is living in the car and power running from the house. I'm sure, I hope the owner knows that there's power running to a car outside their house, but I'm sure they know maybe. I don't know. We're gonna find out. My hair always, I don't know if you get a haircut, I love the haircut. It's awesome. And then once it grows out for a few days, you know, it's like that. Once it's settled in, because you can always tell it's a new haircut. I'm always the 3-day, week after haircut guy. I'm like, yeah, now it's growing in. So I love the haircut. Looks good. Ooh, branches there. And all right, we are gonna start making our way. So we've turned now, which way are we going? East. We're going east. Technically, you could go to the east side of Olympia if you want. This box with the burrito is gonna kill me. I hate carrying shit. I mean, I don't mind it's actually a Filson satchel bag. I don't mind doing that, but I just hate having things in my hand. Good morning. A nice guy just let me walk by. So he pulls out of the alleyway of this cool house here. Oh, that's cool. A little painting of some squirrel and flowers on the fence. Anyways, I just hate carrying shit. I don't know, having stuff in my hand. Maybe it's just me, OCD thing or whatever it is, but don't like carrying stuff. Hands ready for action at all times. So here in the middle of the neighborhood, off the side road, is a church. Actually, one of the real estate agents I know, I saw his ID badge hanging, or not ID badge, like, you know, they have like passes, or not guest passes, I guess just name badges, hanging on the front columns of the church. I saw his, and I put it on one day and took a picture of it, and he'd been going there to that church forever. And my wife, our kids went there for preschool, Gloria Day school in church, and it was really cool, beautiful. And my wife ended up teaching there one year, and my wife is, I don't know if you know Brandy, I don't think we even hit this part, is an elementary teacher. She was 5th grade. She ended up teaching there for the preschool, and you know, she remembered how hard it was teaching really, really young kids, and I think that was the end of that. She left. You know, we did 1 year, and then COVID hit after that anyway, so it worked out well. Not like she wouldn't go back, but she's now teaching 5th grade at Northwest Christian School, which is cool. She absolutely loves that. And 5th grade is fun, exciting for her. And then our kids both go there. Ariel's in 6th grade, and our son Wyatt is in 3rd grade there. And so it'll be very cool if my wife gets to teach her son. Shame she missed my daughter, but maybe that was all for the better. And okay, so as we walk down, again, you're gonna start seeing the white mid-century. There's a few more, actually a lot more 2-story homes coming down this way, down the hill. So you'll get more of these classic craftsman homes, nice big gardens, nice yards. Actually, it's a cute garden. Those look like squash or pumpkin. If you know, go ahead and make a comment in the podcast. I have 2 subscribers now, so either subscriber, I can't check who my subscribers are, or maybe it's all new with this podcast. Okay, to real estate. We are gonna talk about investments now. I think a lot of people wanna be an investor, they wanna be a flipper, they wanna invest in homes, they wanna take an old craftsman and turn it into like a beautiful craftsman like that. I mean, that's the whole point of this. And you can see over here, this guy painted his whole concrete, or had someone paint the whole concrete wall. It's awesome. Now we're on a side street, but this is another kind of semi-main side street going down the hill to Olympia. It's gonna be a little busier. Love that we have these back alleyways all through the neighborhoods as well. I find a lot of people want to be a flipper, investor. Most of them either want to flip homes, some want to do rental homes. A lot of them listen to like podcasts like Bigger Pockets and whatnot. And I'll be honest, I never have. Now I got lucky because I got a wealth of knowledge from my Uncle John, who had 80 to 120 homes right now as investments and rentals. And I would run around with him a decade ago and learn from him about investing and buying and rentals. And we did more rentals, or he did. And then my family, I grew up with my family owning rentals as well. So I had a lot of that knowledge. They touched base, I think, a lot more multifamily, and we were all single family, and we're big believers in that. Now Uncle John has like some duplexes and fourplexes and stuff, and yeah, they make sense, and we did too. But we never really went past fourplexes. And I know they're good money, so I'm not slagging multifamily. It's just a whole nother breed of animal and work. And there's some people out there that can do great with it, and I think some people that get bit. So, and with everything, right? The rentals, flips, all that stuff, you can always get bit. There's no protection, even with knowledge, depending on the market. But with that being said, if you're wanting to start out as an investor, buy rentals, or buy at least start with your one, two things. One, you're gonna have to have 20% down or cash and do a hard money loan. So I guess three things. Hard money loans, I don't even really consider. There are agents that love to do hard money loans out there, and I don't like them. I mean, you have to pay, what, 1 point up front, 1 point per month, 1 point at closing. I forget the numbers now, but it was expensive. And then you ended up losing 20, 40,000 depending on just that loan to get out of it. And I think they had refinance, and a lot of them want to stick you with it, and I think it's even harder now to get hard money loans. So you either have to have cash, or you have to have 20% down to buy your first investment home. Now the catch is, rental, first investment home, you want something that's older, you want something that needs a lot of ROI, a lot of rate of investment. Basically, you want to be working on it. You want to come in, replace carpets, flooring, kitchen, baths, paint, all that stuff. You don't want to get too crazy. I mean, there is ones that we've bought where it needed new floors with, floor joists and sheeting, and some bathtubs you got to tear out, and but you don't want to get too crazy. New roof once in a while, but we try to stay away from the foundation, plumbing and wiring if we can. Sometimes you hit those where you have to do them, and they're great investments if you get the price right. So it all comes down to the numbers, and I think that's where a lot of people, it's tough, because some people, I know investors that have the hardest numbers. I'm like, well, nothing's going to compete with that, because they wanted such a big spread, and a lot of them were trying to flip. They wanted this huge spread. I'm like, well, no, hold on to it, do a rental for a few years and watch it skyrocket. And they should have. If they would have done that in 2016, 17 and sold now, they would have doubled every home. Easy. And all they had to do was hold it for 5 years and make money, which would have been the way to go. Like this green building here, this sold, what was it? Before COVID or during COVID, it sold for $600,000-700,000. Has a bunch of little office places. It's not worth 1.3, somewhere in there. I mean, you made within a few years, plus you're collecting rent from everybody except for during COVID, but it was more of an office space building. I made $300,000-600,000. And that one I sent to my folks to buy. Amazing. Didn't want it though. Oh, we're gonna cancel out of this. So with that being said, the numbers have to work, but then you can't be too critical with the numbers. You have to, that's a cool house over here. See that? And then over here, you have this cool apartment complex. Isn't it cool? Love that thing. I think that'd be cool to have as a freaking, I don't know, your own mansion. Of course, I'd love to have a huge mansion, although it'd get creepy running through that at night, I bet. So it's pretty cool. And we're walking downhill now, straight downhill. Leaves are out, people are getting ready for Halloween. Back to the investments. The numbers have to work. So if you're too tight in numbers, forget about it. Don't buy anything. And I think that's a lot of ways people scare themselves off or want like this golden goose egg, which I get, everybody does. But if the numbers are right, it'll work out where you're cash positive every time. You've calculated the risk and reward, and there would be no risk. Worst case on scenarios is, worst case on scenarios with risk and numbers is you only make a few $100s or $150 or $200. And that's like worst case. Should be at least with 20% down making $400, $600, $700, depending on the cap rate and everything else. And then you also have to be aware of, with single family, if it doesn't get rented for a little bit, then you're having to cover that mortgage. And I think that's why a lot of people tend to go to multifamily, because they don't have the money to cover the mortgage if it's not rented. Multifamily, if you lose 1 out of 4, you most likely should still be able to cover the mortgage on that multifamily, even though more expensive. So then the other way is you could buy multifamily as your first time home, use an FHA loan, live in one of the 4 units and rent the other 3 out. A lot of people preach about that. It's great. I wish I would have done that when I was younger. Married, wife, kids, there's no way in hell we could do that now, nor would we. So if you're single, and younger, an investor, I would buy a multiplex if you can find them. The problem is a fourplex, at least in Washington State's running in a good area about $1 million easy. So now it's a lot more expensive. This one was a crazy home. I looked at this one as an investment for an Airbnb because your view from that home is right over downtown. And it needed a lot of work, stunk, cigarettes, all that fun stuff. But it was really cool because front patio, like look at that. And you overlook the water in downtown. It's freaking awesome. So, sorry, I digress. So the fourplexes are hard to buy because now you need to get pre-approved to buy the $1 million fourplex, or if you go to a bad area, are you wanting to live in that bad area with the fourplex? Thank you. Running across the street with cars waiting for me on the sidewalk downtown. We love our roundabouts. There's that house back over there with the view of, well, I'll show you in a second, the water and the Capitol and the sound and the trees. So, that's the catch too. So do you maybe buy a duplex? You live on one side and rent the other. That's a little more doable. Duplexes are going for about $500,000 here. So now you're technically paying $250,000 for one side, $250,000 for the other side, but you're renting the other side out for $1,800, $2,000, and then you're living in one side, and when you rent it out, you're making $3,000, $4,000, depending on what you rent it for. It could be $1,500 to $2,000 for the one unit side, depending on how big the duplex is. Well, that's a nice rate of return because your mortgage on a $500,000 house, well, with interest rates these days, just you have to talk to a lender. But anyways, let me digress. Look at that water. There's the old train track going out to the old spit out that way. There's the port over there, all the timber and wood, all the sailboats. You can normally see the Olympics if it's not gray, so in the summer you can, and cloudy. And then you can see all the trees they're shipping out to China or wherever. And then here is the Capitol building behind me over there, which is really cool. The Capitol's 1/200th or 1/50th the size of the real Capitol in Washington, D.C. Not sure. Anyways, back to investment. So if you are going to do a duplex, great, that's a good way to go. And those are easier to find. You don't have to maybe go out further, a crappier city, or get a crappy one because they're cheaper than the fourplex. Now, if you can find a fourplex on the East Coast and all those places, they have them a little bit more readily available. Ours are not as harder to find, more expensive here just because of what we pay for rent here in Washington State just skyrocketed. And our inventory is tough because on the west side of Washington, we're kind of squeezed between the mountains and the water. So we can only grow so far. And if we don't allow ourselves to grow up, which I mean build up, we don't. Because when you look at our city here, we have one kind of big tower building, and that is it. And there's maybe some over there, but to be honest, that big tower building, we did not want to let them remodel, which was a POS. It took them forever to come and fix it up and actually make it a usable building again because, again, remember, time warp Olympia, we don't like to let people fix things up. We keep them time warped. So they finally did, and they had some Native American design on front with salmon, and that's the way to incorporate to help invest, if you know what I mean, and develop. So we are going to be walking around the whole lake over there with the Capitol to the truck today. Then I have to get lumber for fixing my shed or building my shed up and put a roof on it. And then daughter has horse riding today, so we're full busy. So that's why we're doing this fun hike now before I have to take off and do some more stuff. All right, back to investments. If you're looking to invest and you want to find flips, my preference is if you have the 20% down and you can withstand if someone didn't rent the house for 1 to 3 months or more, if it took a while, you're overpriced on the rental, which wouldn't happen because you're gonna know going into numbers what the rental prices are. You're gonna call property management. You're gonna know exactly that rentals are in such high demand. When you go to rent a home here, there'll be like 100 applicants that you have to sort through. That's how crazy it's gonna be. So the prices should be right. Busy rental, so it shouldn't be vacant. Then you find a home that needs work. That's crappy. That you're like, okay, let's do this. How much do we need? 20,000, 30,000 to put in, I would say would be the average of coming in, new carpets. If you can do it yourself, this is all doing it yourself, by the way. If you can't do it yourself, I don't know how to say this, you're kind of screwed, because contractors are so expensive. They're charging like 30% above. I kid you not, some 20%, but it still is high. So if you have a small job, kitchen and this and that, you're at 20,000, you're paying, I mean, you're literally paying an extra 10,000. All right, we have a seal over here in the water. I'm not sure if you can see, but this is an old boardwalk that's been here. Can I zoom in? No, I can't. Let's walk to the seal. So there's a seal just floating in the water over here, chilling on the boardwalk. Seagulls relaxing, it's chilling as well. Probably thinking I'm gonna give him some of this. Not gonna happen. And then you have Bayview grocery store here. I actually chased a shoplifter, homeless guy out of that, and the cops came and arrested him. We were gonna taser him. I chased him for 5 blocks while on the phone with the cops so they could get him, and I yelled at him to stop pushing the cashier as they were trying to rob him. Cigarettes, of course, right? That's what you do. So that was fun. I had as the cop said, I had my running shoes on. That's why I was able to keep up with them. I'm like, no, I just run. I'm in shape. But they were nice. So the seal was right over here in the water. You can see, always tell, this is a typical Washington State boardwalk. Wood, as you know, in the salt water. Gray, green, faded. Smells like the salt water mixed with a little boat and motor oil and gas. Yeah, we're down in the Sound. Welcome to Olympia. I love this. There's literally no one here on our boardwalks. Down in the Sound. And boats everywhere. This is cool. So I'll bring the kids down here and we'll walk around and just chill. There's some informational pictures over there. It talks about how old Olympia is and everything like that. Depth looks to be 6 feet there, 7, I don't know. But anyways, if you're wanting to do the rental or start investing, you need either one, go to school, learn how to build, framing, contracting. You need to talk to a buddy and have him just teach you, and you can go be a free apprentice literally on the weekends or whatever you can do to learn how to change out a bathroom sink, you know, or actually the countertop in the sink. Learn how to change out a toilet, bathtub, countertops, do tiling, flooring, all that stuff. So if you don't, or do drywall or anything like that, you're not gonna make any money because you're gonna pay for all these guys to do it. So that is gonna be huge in investing. But then you gotta find the home. And finding the investment home is huge because it's hard to find. Oh look, he's cleaning the boats. Oh look, they're building down there. So the guy in the wetsuit is cleaning the holes in the bottom, diving under there, and the guys over here are redoing the yacht club deck dock. Look at that. Holy cow. They're sistering two 2x16s, those look like. 2x12s on top of the 2x12s on the dock. That's really cool. Sistering means basically you're just tacking the, I don't know, the floor joists, or I guess you'd call those dock joists, floor joists, to the other wood that was there, and then those look like the new rim joists there around. Anyways, I went to school for framing. Not sure if that really helped prove my point, but I went to BCIT in Canada when I was living with my wife for a year to learn how to frame. So I came out as a second-year apprentice, and I only had my third and fourth year to finish. And I went framing homes right away. Now, do I know everything? No. Did my dad teach me a lot? Absolutely. Electrical, plumbing, changing things out, wiring, tiling, everything. And I'm so lucky I did. He built his own house, and I just built my own house. Now, finish work, I'm hit and miss on. I can do finish work. I like it until I get bored of it, which is pretty darn easy when you're tiling or doing trim work or anything like that. So you need to learn those skills. Go to a community college, learn it. be an apprentice, because then you can save that $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 that you're going to invest in the home, and you can just pay for materials. And then you can just go buy the materials, do it yourself, pay for the ROI, and fix up that home. That's all you're going to do. It's amazing. So now finding the home. Let's continue with investments. Sorry, I'm down on the dock in the water. I love this view because it's just straight out. Here comes a sailboat. I don't know if you can see it. It's motoring in right now from some exotic country or Tacoma, Washington. The sailboat's just going real slow pace, little low ripples, motoring in. It's really cool. And then this is the oyster house here, of course, as you know, good oysters. And then there's the Capitol right behind you again. So these views in Olympia, with looking at the Capitol, looking at the oyster house, right on the water, right on the dock. You have some new buildings that were built here. Again, we don't go up high. Remember, I think that's the height limit. There's a new apartment complex as well. No condos really. We are slacking in condos. We just apartment. It's all apartment based. I'd love to have some cool condos. Like those would have been great condos to buy, but no, all apartments again, which we need, trust me. And apartments there, and investors, you get more money again, remember, by renting, not flipping. Of course, you make quick equity, but no, they all want apartments because that's where you make the money. So we do need condos downtown. If any big investors call me, I will show you the places to build condos right away, and you want to make some quick money. I'll have everyone sold in a second. I kid you not. I have people that have been waiting 10 years, old doctor and his wife. Very nice, not old, just doctor and his wife. Would love to have a condo downtown. They've been waiting 10 years for someone to build one downtown with water views. Anyways, finding the investment home. Oh, look, there's the sailboat. He's turning and gonna back that puppy in. Again, to view the Capitol all the way up. Find the investment homes. Let's get going with this. All right, find the investment homes. Now, with investment homes, you need to call an agent like myself, and we will tell you the investment homes off market. I mean, to be honest, that's the best way you're gonna find them. Now, we are gonna have a lot of investment homes coming up, and I've seen them more and more, where you can get on the outskirts or get something that's just too rough for everybody else, where you can buy and make a good penny. Now, back in the day, there used to be a lot of foreclosures. Homes walked away, this and that, where you could buy investment home. I'm gonna run across the street, green light, and I'm going for it. Not jaywalking, it was a white hand. No, I'm just joking. Who cares? Oh, I shouldn't say that. Yes. So, I have some investment homes off market. They will get it for $300, $320 for the investment home, where if it went on the market, you may have 5, 6 investors fighting for it and may bump up the price, or we may charge more. And these investors take it as is, and they're all cash. They do a hard money loan, they have the cash. They're not doing contracts for 20% down because you have to go through the appraisal and all this and that, and we don't want that as a seller anyways of the investment home. So you need to call an agent. You can do wholesalers. You can sign up on a wholesalers list if you don't know what that is. My opinion, slimy as hell, but there are good wholesalers out there. Yes, I know some of them, but it just depends on who you find and talk to. This is a cool little ice cream shop right there. Neat little place. It depends on who you find for the wholesaler. You can get on their list and then buy them. Again, they're gonna be cash only under contracts. But that's the best way to find investment homes, in my opinion, if you're doing single family. Here's Cascadia Grill. My wife and I ate at that corner table right there when we first moved to Olympia town. They have this cool like mural and Bigfoot everywhere in there. I like it. So, very cool, Cascadia Grill. Changed owners a few times. Here, they built this new building a while ago. These commercial spots have been vacant since the beginning. Still, no one's there, and I'm sure they're using it to just write off debt with taxes because they own this building. They're charging way too much, and you know, that's a great way. Here is, it used to be Ben Moore's, an old bar. It has a second floor in the back. That was freaking awesome. I had this one under contract. 500,000, and it just didn't work out. My wife's like, you're not owning a bar, which I completely understand and get, although I would have loved to, because it's double in price now. Well, maybe not double, maybe a few $100,000 more. And they've done nothing with it. The college bought it from a sweet lady. If you see my head nodding, I shouldn't say that. Her daughter was really nice. She's just a shark. She used to be an old real estate agent as well. So this is kind of the downtown main core area. This is Capitol Way and 4th. We're gonna go up that way. This brown building during COVID, that whole building, which I'll show, whoops, we won't walk that way. Actually, let's walk up one block, or not one block, just one corner here. This whole building, I looked at it when it was listed. We were gonna make an offer. They wanted a 1 million, 1 million 2. Even if we got it for $1 million, would have been awesome. One of the original corners, like Spur restaurants right up there. This is like the main section right here. And this is how busy our downtown is. There's hardly anybody downtown. This is it. Really cool. This one during COVID sold for $650,000. Can you believe that? This whole building, second floor up there, you can make it apartments. They've done nothing with it. I'm sure they're just holding on to it for investment. And like the blue building over here, I think sold for $900,000. Maybe it was the purple one. I forget. Dude, try to go through the light. But anyways, look how big that is. The whole brown building. And then down there, there's more main buildings. Looks like they're painting this building to fix up as well. Anyways, if you can find investments with wholesalers or real estate agents, myself, call a real estate agent first. We can even get with wholesalers to find you the properties easier for investments. That's what I would do, number one. Negotiating is a different segment. Archibald Sisters, real cool novelty gifts. Sorry, I'm gonna interject in between. That place is like, you know, the whoopee cushions and cool art stuff and Star Trek and all like the novelty, really cool gifts, just better, like on steroids. So everybody loves going in there. For Christmas stocking stuffers, amazing. Same with Compass Rose, just high-end quality, but not crazy. You're not gonna lose an arm and a leg at Compass Rose, and it's amazing, beautiful. Love it. Of course, you got the old Olympia Federal Savings. I mean, the building looks like still the 60s, 70s, and that's Olympia Federal Savings. That's the bank. Here's this. The leaves are everywhere. Trees are everywhere. It's definitely fall. They have Halloween decorations down that way. This is our cute little downtown city. That's what I love about this is it's charming. It looks like the East Coast downtown on the water, just with, we have no people in a nice way. I mean, we have people, but not as many, not as a big city. You know, this is 55,000 here in Olympia alone. We have Lacey and Tumwater, but combined we have 100,000. Our next major city is Tacoma, half an hour away, and then you have Seattle. So it's pretty much, we're still, and even though this is capital of Washington State, it's still small. There's a good little restaurant there as well, and a good little pizza place there. We used to have a pinball arcade place over there. Here's the back alleyway to the theater, back that direction. Oh, this is new. Maybe it's not new. I sometimes haven't been down here in a while. Tattoo place. There used to be a Starbucks on this corner here. They closed down because of the homeless downtown that was just, let's be honest, that's what it was. So then, was it New Moon? Oh, Dancing Goats Coffee took over this corner over Starbucks because it was still a great place to have coffee for all the government officials that were here. There's an apartment complex there. And then as you see, there's like the park there. There is no one coming, so we are gonna go. White hand, white hand. I'm talking about signals, you know, the red hand, white hand walking. But there's like the founding statue over there in the middle of the park. And then we have that cool building. I always forget what that building is. Someone who's from here, jump in, I guess we would walk over there, but the building, the architecture, the old stone, the whole thing's all old stone built. These trees are how old? Those maples. This park is amazing. Now, have a lot of homeless, or did, for some reason they're all starting to scatter. Maybe they've been moving south for the winter because it gets miserable up here, and I would be in somewhere warm if I'm going to be living on the streets. At least that's my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make light, just I think that'd be extremely tough, and I'd rather be hot than cold and wet, to be honest. Anyways, this is a cool old structure. That's like it looks like a Hogwarts building, you know, and you have the old witchcraft and wizardry, and, you know, where the old, what are they called? The old East Coast buildings. What's the one where they did the paddling down the river, and the clubs or cults? What the heck was that called? The Secret Society building? I don't know, whatever. Not the Freemason, but I forgot the movie was. The Skulls, there we go, the Skulls movie. That's what it was. Good morning. So, that is part of Downtown Olympia. And again, you have government buildings, and then you have hotels down here, and no offense, we have no good hotels in Olympia. Let's just be honest. So, bed and breakfast it up, or continue on and stop by Olympia. I don't know. I mean, just, we have no good hotels. I mean, if you do see a hotel, it's good, it's clean. It's just, we have no high-end hotels, or really, maybe we're middle grade hotels. Could we give it that? I haven't stayed in one in a long time. I was just talking to a friend about the hotels. Maybe middle grade hotel, I guess you could say. I don't know. I haven't experienced it, so I shouldn't slang it. Okay, back to investments on real estate again. So, if you can get an agent to help you find the wholesalers and do all that stuff, next is getting the investments under contract. So let's say we find an investment under contract. Next, what do you do? Well, if you have the cash, great. It's a lot easier, and we can negotiate off usually a good chunk, or at least we can say, hey, we'll do a quick closing, and we can negotiate that investment and get it under contract. You can close usually in 2 weeks or so. At least that's what I try to do with my investments. And then from the investment, then you start working on it. You close, you get it. Now, hopefully it's not occupied. If it's occupied, Washington State's a whole different ballgame. So that's a pain. And it's gonna like my Uncle John was just saying, minimally cost you $2,000 to $3,000 to get a lawyer to get the occupant tenant that's not paying an investment out of there. And so you definitely do not want to close or buy on an investment home if there's a tenant in there, if they're squatters. Just don't. And if you do, you need to get a huge discount, and then you can go through the process of kicking them out. And it takes 3-6 months minimum, usually 3 to 4 months. You got to go through the process. You got to post the paperwork. You got to give them time. You got to get the lawyer, and then the sheriffs will come if they don't. And then it's a whole process. Done it multiple times with multiple investors. It's not fun. So unless you're getting a huge discount, let's say the home's $300,000 investment and they have tenants in there, and you get it for $250,000, you're making $50K, and you have to wait the 3-6 months and a few $1,000s to remove the tenants, then absolutely, then it is worth it if it's your time and you're comfortable with it. If you're not, then don't buy it. But I see a lot of people make money that way too, by taking the time and the headache and the hassle by doing that. So to each their own on investments. Now we're coming over to Capitol Lake. I'll show you the view in just a second. Capitol Lake is naturally the capital there. It's a big lake made with, I think it's made with a little dam there that runs out right into the sound and so forth. Again, correct me if any of my facts are wrong. I am just a tourist. No, I'm not. I'm local, but I should probably know this. I've known it or read it. I don't remember. I guess I should look up the facts before I start podcast on certain areas, which we'll do. This is podcast number 2. But there is the Capitol building there, and then there is the lake, and a lot of people jog, run around the lake. They have marathons. They have little fun runs around the lake. And you have a nice big park here. We have Fun Fair during the summer that they set up the whole carnival here. 4th of July fireworks. This is that's the main park right there. Downtown, water 1 block away with the sound. The lake here. There's condos that people buy up there that you can oversee the lake and the Capitol. Excuse me. Oh, no one wants to hear someone coughing during the podcast. Awesome. Oh, burrito. I think I'm gluten intolerant, but my wife says, I don't believe it. I love gluten. Gluten always rocks. This is the best podcast ever. Okay, so with investments, let's continue on. So You get it under contract. We do the 2-week close. I always recommend the inspection still. Some people will say as is, so I like to still do inspection, know what I'm getting into. Or if you're not doing the work, get the contractor in there and tell you how much it's going to cost. I can ballpark in a second what I'm looking at, even if I have to crawl under. I hate crawling under and going through the attic, but you have to see what you're working with. Structurally, foundation, attic, wiring, plumbing, all that stuff you need to know. Simple as that. So once you get through all that, it all looks good, or you know what your ballpark price is. Hopefully it's mostly just carpet, flooring, paint, maybe some siding, maybe roofing, maybe a little plumbing here and there, change out bathrooms, kitchen, whatnot, but you know what you're looking, 20, 30,000 extra. You're getting the house for, let's say on this investment that I know of, you're getting it for 300, 320, okay? This one probably needs $40,000, $50,000 worth of work. And that's me knowing the foundation actually looked good, plumbing looked good, wiring looked great, everything looked updated. Probably a new roof, new painting, new bathrooms, new kitchens, new drywall, 40, 50,000. So you get it for 320, you're at, let's say 370, 375, let's throw in an extra 5,000, so 55,000. 375, you can turn and burn that. Oh, and it comes with a double lot, so you can build on the other lot or sell it off, parcel it off and sell it off for 50, 60, 100,000, probably realistically 60, worst case 50,000. And you're at 375, you can sell the house and lot for 500, 475, 450 at the worst case, okay? So there's 75,000 plus the extra lot, worst case 50,000, so you're at 125 before capital gains. Good morning. So with that being said, there's a quick 75,000 plus lot 50. I would try to roll it in, maybe 550 for everything with the extra lot. You know, you're at 125 before capital gains. If you're selling it, if you're renting it, the house would rent after you fix it up. Downtown over there, 2,000, 2,400 a month. You have the other lot, which I would build a small home on, or build another little bungalow and rent that out for 1,800. Of course, now you're spending money building, but simple, easy to build. Now, with that being said, is that a good rental? Well, it depends on how much cash you have. Because if you're at 375, let's just say 360, no, 375 after everything's said and done, you're renting it out for 2,200, you're at what? 6% cap rate, 8% cap rate, depending on how you push the numbers, how much you charge for rent. Do you have them pay for utilities? Of course you do. Stuff like that. That's not a bad return on investment, especially nowadays, because we can't find anything like that for a rental. So you're at 375 for a really nice home. Let the equity grow, because you already know you have equity into it, but let it grow. Do a nice rental there. Have the other lot. If you're bored, you can build a house onto it. Maybe even put tiny home, or how many tiny homes can you put on there? Not to affect the renters, but then rent those out or rent one out. Or even a shop, cheap shop, storage for RV or boat there downtown. Then it doesn't affect the renters, and you're making an extra $200, $300 a unit, and you probably put 2-3 units in there, so you're at extra 600. So now you're at 2,400. Worst case 2,000, but let's say 2,200 is probably the average there, 2,300 downtown, and you get an extra 600 at 2,900. Now you're almost at 8%, 9%, depending on what you're paying with everything. So here's a closer view of the Capitol. Of course, we're walking right up to the base. You can take the stairs up to the Capitol, and then there's the lake to the building across where we walked over by the bay over there. So with that being said, it could be a good rental. You turn around, you take it, you rent it, perfect. Now you keep building those up. And with the equity, in a year or two, or even then, you have 100 and some thousand equity into it now. Although I like to keep 20% in, but you can drop it down to 10%, pull out the equity, and then you have some extra cash to keep running around and doing that. Now, those are Washington State homes. They grow faster and higher than southern states where you're getting a home for 100,000, 120 Midwest homes, and the rents are 800 to 900. Those are what I call 1%, or what I learned from Uncle John 1%, which is actually 10%, which I learned later. 10% rate of return, or cap rate 10%. It all depends on where you're at and how much you grow, because those homes aren't going to grow as much in equity. They're 100,000, 120. They may go to 150, 160. over 5 years, maybe 180, you know, where this home's going from 375 or actual value of 500, and maybe it goes to 600, 650, an extra 100,000, 110. So you have to take that into account when buying these homes with the home equity and with the investment of what you're getting back at the rate of return for those investments. So that's what you need to look for as if you're looking for investment. That's what you're doing here. You're listening to How to Buy an Investment Home. And this is just the executive summary. We're gonna nail it down further. I'm gonna go more and more niche on what I'm looking at with the homes. We'll start with this investment home. We'll take the tour and the tour of the investment home, and I'll show you the whole process, who we sell it to, how much they paid for, what they're thinking, the plans, the actual numbers, and we'll continue on doing this. And we'll do multifamily duplexes, as well as seeing Washington State. Look how cloudy it is over there, and foggy. Back that way, and the trees, and you can get lost in the woods, werewolf style. Welcome to Olympia, Washington, capital. Actually, kind of a lot of people on the path today walking around, getting in shape. I got a 10-minute hike uphill. You don't want to listen to me hike and walk uphill to the dealership, through the woods, past the condos, across the bridge, over past the railroad track. But that is my adventure. I'm going to bid you guys adieu. Have a good day. Captain Ron, and thank you for listening on my podcast. Any questions, answers, feedback, give it along. I'm your host. This was sponsored by me, P&W Homes Group. That's the company I own, and sponsors. I bought myself a burrito today. Okay. Have a good day, guys. Talk to you later.